Hello there, Lynx here, and this is another dive into Age.io. Today we are playing to Libertad. Let's check it out. We have not played any games from this dev before, so this is, I guess, a complete unknown. Just a little further. While breathing so hard that I would collapse at any moment, I pushed myself to continue running straight ahead. Okay. My legs were about to give out. Mine too, actually, today when I went running. And my heartbeat was loud. I urgently needed to rest, but I knew I could afford no such luxury. I had come too far to give up now. If I were caught at this point, I would surely be killed, if not worse.
Quickly after her! Don't let her escape!
Yeah, I know. Catch the little rat before she escapes.
Oh, I'll make sure that little biatch gets what's coming to her. Nobody escapes heroic clutches that easily, and when I catch her... Oh, shut up, you idiot! She went through here.
I continued to run as quickly as my legs would carry me. For starving and sleep deprived. There was enough adrenaline pumping through my body for me to run far away from this dreadful city. And at that moment, that was exactly what I needed to do. If I could escape from the city and make my way to Libertad, then I would finally be free.
Gotcha!
One of my pursuers suddenly rolled out in front of me. I turned around to flee in the opposite direction, but the moment I did, two more men stood in my way.
Well, lucky this in the bottle, huh? You did well to make it this far, little girl. Look at you, nobody would ever suspect that you had it in you to cut a guard's throat and loot his corpse. You'd have my praise, were it not a friend of mine whom you chose to slay. 'Tis a pity.
One of my pursuers began to advance on me.
No, please, no more. Oh, hush, hush. Such pitiful display does not suit a beauty such as yourself. If you quieten down, perhaps I'll reward one last time. Would you like to enjoy your final moments of life? Stop! Keep your filthy hands off of me! She's a fighter, I tell ya. Oh, shut up and hold her down. I'm going first. Great way to ruin the mood, you blubbering fools. Never mind, there's no romance to be had in an alley like this anyway. Now then, what do you say, girl? Care to make this easy and take your clothes off without a fuss?
I crumpled my torso in my arms as I backed up against the wall.
I'd rather die. That certainly can be arranged. But first, you two stand back. I'm going to show this girl how to treat her own right.
The most talkative of the three men reached out and grabbed my wrist. I tried to pull away, but he was far too strong. And even if I did manage to break free, I was unarmed and surrounded. Listen. This is an advice from me. If you're in this situation, just kick between the legs. And you are good to go. My bid for freedom was over.
Why does it have to be this way? Why must I continue to suffer while evil men like these are allowed to do as they please? If this world is truly so rotten, maybe I'd better be off.
I closed my eyes as I awaited the inevitable. If I was about to die anyway, there was no reason to struggle. One more moment of suffering and humiliation would make no difference. For better or worse, I had steeled my resolve and prepared myself for whatever might come next.
Huh? Let's go!
I slowly opened my eyes as the grip on my arm loosened. Accompanying the sound of something hitting the ground, the sight that awaited me was one of unexpected yet welcome carnage. Laying on the ground before me were the corpses of my pursuers, each lying in a pool of their own blood and felled without a sound.
What on earth?
Startled, my eyes darted around as I tried to make sense of the sight before me. 3 men had been killed in an instant, and standing beside their corpses was a woman. Armed with a sword and a shield, a strong woman, undoubtedly a warrior, glared at the 3 men fiercely. I could see no sign of sympathy or remorse in her eyes. To her, the 3 men she had just slain were nothing more than feral animals, whom nobody would miss. And at that moment I knew exactly what I needed to do.
Please, take me to Libertad!
The woman removed her eyes from the corpses at her feet and glanced my way.
Not even a word of thanks. My apologies. You have my deepest thanks for saving my life. Please, it may be rude of me to say this, but slavers are bound and I... Stop right there.
The woman thrust out her palm and gestured for me to stop.
Do not misunderstand. I killed those 3 not because you required assistance, but merely on a whim. I'm no paragon of justice. I do not help those in need without reason. Well...
I pulled out the gold coins I had stolen from the guard I killed during my initial escape.
Here, take it all. It's all yours. In return, please take me to the Libertad.
The woman took the gold coins from me and briefly inspected them.
This is quite a sizable amount. Far more than someone like you should be carrying. Still, I must end my involvement here. But why? As I said, my intervention was not but a whim. This conversation is over. If you wish to reach Libertad, you'd best get going.
Returning the gold coins to me, the woman turned around and began to walk away.
Damn, her build thought. You can't be serious. That's how it's going to be then. Why did you save me at all? Pardon?
What the... You know what? I'm not even siding with the girl that is named Slave over here. Like... Dude, she saved your life. It's not like she is entitled to do anything more. Anyway.
I would have been dead by now if you hadn't saved me. My suffering would have finally ended. I could have been free of this miserable life. Now, thanks to you, I'm still here, living in fear of what I have no control over. If you won't help me, the least you could do is finish me off. What a farce. I just saved your life. Be grateful. Grateful for what? All you did was postpone the inevitable. More slaves. Slavers will come. I'll be caught again in no time. And I'll be right back where I started.
I could feel tears forming in the corners of my eyes. Looking down the corpses beneath me, I felt a sense of both regret and envy.
How stupid. I should have known I couldn't make it out alive. I thought that if I just kept running all by myself, then maybe I alone could escape. But it's just not possible. Even if I escape from this city, I'll be captured again in no time.
I retained my gaze to the woman in front of me.
So, take responsibility and kill me right now! And don't dare run away. Finish what you started, you coward!
I mean, god damn it. My answer would be like something. I mean, dude, girl, take the weapon from them then. Finish what you want to finish. God damn it.
Coward. Me. To claim that I am the one running away. You really want me to kill you. But why? For what logic? Have you reached these absurd conclusions? I saved you, therefore I must kill you? Huh? I intervened, therefore this is my responsibility. Huh? I don't understand you in the slightest.
Despite her words, the woman readied her sword.
But that's as it may. If death is truly what you wait for, then...
Stopping mid-sentence, the warrior suddenly averted her gaze. She appeared to focus on something unseen, then quickly grabbed my hand and pulled me off to the side.
Hey, what are you?
Shh! With my mouth covered by my savior's hand after she sheathed her sword, I silently watched as a few figures passed us by. Stopping on briefly to inspect their fallen comrades, the familiar faces of my captors quickly passed us by. My accomplice nodded to the side, then led me by the hand without saying a word. Once we had escaped from the slums and reached a busy marketplace, my hand was released. Dude, they have some nice artworks in this. I mean, the CG was pretty neat as well. Good looking. Even though it was the bad guys, but you know. Why is this cable for headphones so short? I said this before. I will keep saying this. Yeah, I actually ordered those headphones. They were cheap. And I actually I actually did not pay attention to the length of the cable. It's all my fault, but whatever.
You are kidding. Those slavers are more possessive than I thought. Girl, what is your name? My name?
I think I changed her voice, by the way, but well.
I'm Ada. Ada. Very well, Ada. My name is Marfa, and henceforth I shall be accompanying you to Libertad. You will? But why? I thought you were against the idea.
Confronted by her earlier assertion, Marfa looked away.
It's just a whim. Alright, I won't press you for an answer. Well then, I guess I'll be in your care, Marfa.
I look up at my new companion with a smile on my face. Seeing that, Marfa quickly walks off.
Save it for when we arrive at Libertad.
After purchasing provisions for our journey and the cloak with which I could hide my appearance, Marfa and I set off. Yeah, I was thinking she should get, well, clothes basically. And not walk around in, I guess, slave rags or however you would call that. She a beauty. We left the city and began heading towards Libertad. Also, look at those. Holy crap. Leading us into a forest on the outskirts of town. Our trip was predominantly filled with silence. After walking through the forest a while, I could bite my tongue no longer.
Sir Marfa? Just Marfa is fine. Understood. Marfa, then, forgive me if this is a foolish question, but wouldn't we be better off traveling via the highway?
Also, I mean, I probably am not wrong about this, but shouldn't she get rid of that collar somehow? I don't know, maybe I'm incorrect about that, but it looks a little bit like that collar could have chain attached to it, right? Holy crap.
The path here is harsh underfoot. In fact, there is hardly a path at all. What a foolish question. Listen, those roads are better than Polish roads anyway. We'll be fine.
Marfa shook her head and continued to walk without pause.
Have you forgotten the position that you are in?
Yeah, I mean, on the highway, probably more likely to run into them. Maybe?
We are being chased. Furthermore, we are on foot. Were we to take the highway, horse-mounted pursuers may follow rapidly from behind. We would be trapped and surrounded not by mere slavers, but by hired assassins, professional killers in the face of whom I could not ensure your survival.
I mean, technically over here you can have the assassins and, you know.
I wish to avoid such a needless and risky fight. That is why we are taking this path instead. Compared to the highway, the ground here is uneven, the rocks are covered with moss,
and the drop is steep. This path is possible to traverse by horse and perilous by foot. I see. So it's dangerous, but it will buy us time. I understand. I breathed a sigh of relief as I looked around and confirmed our surroundings. Surely enough, the traits which made our path difficult to walk would ultimately work in our favor. If we could find our way through the forest, we would be in the clear, if only temporarily. Do not feel at ease just yet. Although we may have gotten a head start on our pursuers, slavers are not our only enemy here. What do you mean? It's just us out here, right? Marfa shook her head. In a forest like this, there are bound to be monsters.
What?
Moments after informing me of this fact, Marfa held her arm out to her side and stopped walking. Oh, crap. I peered through the clearing up ahead and spotted 3 creatures similar in appearance to decrepit humans. Their heads were oddly shaped, and their limbs were similar enough to those of a child. In the dark of night, they could easily sneak in the city and pretend to be humans.
What are those things?
Goblins.
Goblins? That's what goblins look like? I had heard tales of goblins as a child, but this is the first time I see one of those creatures in the flesh.
Surprisingly similar to children in appearance, are they not? Bar their skin color and misshapen heads, of course. Judging by the horn slung around the waist of one of the goblins, it would appear that they are scouts. I took a closer look at the goblins. As Marfa mentioned, one of them was carrying a horn at its waist, presumably so it could alert its comrades if anything happened.
Why would goblins be scouting around here?
It's hard to say. Maybe they're keeping lookout for invaders. Maybe they're searching for a village to plunder. Either way, the only good goblin is a dead goblin. I so agree with that. Unless we are talking the slime anime, I guess, but other than that, yeah, a good goblin is a dead goblin. Signaling for me to stay put, Marfa slowly walked towards the goblins. Creeping stealthy, Marfa pulled out a throwing knife from behind her back and took aim. She carefully lined up the throw while inching closer. Even while concentrating on the target, Marfa watched her feet, making certain not to make a sound. Found in a single movement too quick for me to follow, the knife left Marfa's hand.
Fire!
After nailing the horn-carrying goblin with her first throw, Marfa jumped out and took advantage of the other goblin's surprise. She quickly unsheathed her sword and stabbed one of the remaining goblins in the throat, then rushed towards the final target.
Yar!
Ha! Pathetic. The final goblin drew the blade at its hip and began swinging wildly. Marfa easily blocked the poor goblin's swordplay with her shield and then proceeded to whack the goblin in the head. Staggering from the impact, the goblin fell to the ground. Marfa immediately seized the opportunity to draw a wide upward arc with her blade, then swung down with tremendous force. Without an ounce of resistance, the goblin's skull was split in half. Just in case, I would stab them like 20 more times. Each. After swinging her blade through the air a few times to remove the blood, Marfa casually walked back over to my side. No more stabbing? I was just in case.
Amazing! You really are strong, Marfa. These goblins never stood a chance.
Oh, please. Felling a goblin or two is not an accomplishment worthy of praise. I would not dare call myself an adventurer if I considered goblins to be worthy adversaries. Tell that to Goblin Slayer. Be that as it may. Marfa walked over to the goblins once more as something caught her eye. She picked up the blade of the horn-carrying goblin and inspected the hilt. A knight's crest. How pitiful to be slain by mere goblins. I mean, goblins in pack. That's a scary thing. Here. Marfa handed me the knight's blade. This is yours now. Don't befall the same fate as the previous owner. Or even two of them.
A blade? For me? But I've not trained in the art of swordsmanship. I won't know the first thing about wielding a blade.
It's easy. Swing, slice, stab. You'll figure it out.
You make it sound so easy.
The basics are, I'm not asking you to become a master swordsman, you know.
Yes, but...
Just take the damn thing. You'll know what to do with it when the time comes.
Okay, I understand.
Good. Now let us settle down for the night. Here?
You think it's a good idea?
This area will soon grow dark. We'd best stake our claim while we can still see.
You want to make a camp already? But it is only twilight, we can still go on.
I could, but I'm not sure about you. You're already out of breath, and Libertad is still many leagues away. Besides, rest is a necessity, and we'll fare better if we travel when we're well rested.
I understand, but shouldn't we try to cover as much ground as we can? What if more goblins come? Or if the slavers catch up to us, or...
Oh, shut it. Just sit down and be quiet already. Marfa suddenly raised her voice. Well, I didn't, but... Her expression grew fierce, and she turned to face me without any sign of her usual calm. Listen here, Ada. As long as I'm the one leading, I get to make decisions. If you have a problem with that, then either take the lead or get lost, got it?
No, I didn't mean that. I'm sorry.
I backed away from Marfa and lowered my head. Seeing my pitiful expression, Marfa sighed audibly and scratched her head. Look, I can only ensure your survival if you do as I say. I'm an experienced adventurer. When I say we need to make camp or take a particular route, there's a damn good reason behind my decision. So if you want the journey to be as painless as possible, then do as I say. Do you understand?
Yes, I understand.
Marfa sighed once more and brought her hands down to her hips. Alright then, Ada. Eat something light and then go to sleep. You'll need to regain your strength, for tomorrow we'll begin our trek anew.
Very well. I'll make a fire then so we can...
Don't.
Sorry?
The smoke will give away our location to our pursuers, and the light will attract monsters. Though it may make you feel uneasy, the darkness is our ally. Let us not waste the cover of the night.
Understood.
Somewhat disheartened by my own uselessness, I did as Marfa decreed and grabbed some food from our supplies. Took a sip. Myself. After eating in silence for a short while, Marfa and I ventured further into the woods in search of a proper place to rest. Once we located a suitable area in which to make a camp, we settled down for the night, making ourselves comfortable on the soft grass and leaves beneath us. Content with our new camp, I sat down and resumed my meal. I knew that we wouldn't have much time to look for food while we were traveling, so I took the opportunity to fill my stomach and enjoy a break from physical activity. I felt somewhat disheartened that my break was going to take place surrounded by darkness in a creepy forest, but at the very least I could finally sit down and eat without interruption. While nibbling on the apple in my hand, I gazed up at Marfa. Unlike me, she didn't seem to be unnerved by our surroundings in the slightest. Eating quietly in the dark was not a problem for her, nor was camping out in the forest infested with monsters. But for me, this was not the case. Everything about our current situation frightened me, and the silence only fueled my unease. So after swallowing another mouthful, I gathered my courage and spoke at last.
Marfa, can I ask you something?
What is it?
I was just wondering, for how long have you been an adventurer? When did you start training? Was it difficult? Is it the kind of thing you need to devote your life to?
What's with the part of the questions all of a sudden? And what interest do you have in adventuring anyway? It's not as glamorous as people make it out to be.
That's not a problem. It's not that I'm particularly interested in doing it myself or anything. I was just thinking that maybe
If I try to be an adventurer, maybe I could become strong like you. Martha's eyes narrowed as I touched upon the reason for my questioning. No, forget I said anything. I was just making little chatter. You need to take my question seriously. I tried to laugh off the suddenly tense atmosphere and bring the brief attempt at conversation to an end. However, Martha continued to stare at me, unconvinced that I meant what I said. Ada, if it is strength you seek, then my experience as an adventurer will not aid you. I've been an adventurer since I was born. I killed my first monster before I could even speak, and I've been hanging my skills. I've been honing my skills ever since. I have no secret training ritual to share with you. Only time and effort will see you become strong. Oh, I see. But it's a shame, I suppose. I suppose I'll not be able to become strong so easily after all. Of course not. Strength is something you build up over many years of tireless effort. You cannot suddenly decide to become an adventurer and hope to gain such a power as a result. Yeah, you're right. Please forgive my foolish question. I cast my eyes downward as my hopes were quickly dashed. Although I figured strength would not come to me so easily, I had hoped that Martha would at least share with me a tactic I could use, or perhaps teach me basic swordplay. I mean, it's literally the first day you're traveling together. However, my question yielded no such result. Instead, all I earned was a lecture. For what reason do you wish to become strong anyway? Is it revenge that you seek? The power to slay the men who pursue you? Unexpectedly, Martha continued our conversation with an inquisitive tone, genuinely interested in what I had to say. In response, I shook my head and uttered weakly, I just want to be able to protect myself. Makes sense. Be strong to protect yourself and maybe the close ones? Yeah, I like that. Ada, wake up. Hey Ada, can you hear me? Shh, keep quiet and open your eyes. Awakened by Martha's soft shouting, I immediately opened my eyes and looked around. For still half asleep, I quickly gained my hearings and fell back to what had happened before I fell asleep. What's wrong? What happened? We've been hit. We've been had. I did not anticipate this number of goblins. Oh boy. Goblins! My eyes darted back and forth. I couldn't see a thing in the pitch black darkness. If there were goblins watching us, I would have no way to tell if and when they would strike. That's why I said it's probably not a good place for a freaking camp. You slayed 3 goblins and you barely moved from that place. Okay, I'm not the adventurer here, I guess, but you know. Just keep calm, they haven't spotted us yet. Okay, yes, I'm calm. The music makes me calm. But where are they? I've already killed a lot of the goblins around here. Hardly. All I did was slay a few scouts. With their scouts not reporting in, the main force has now shown up to look for them. The main force? That sounds bad. It is indeed. Usually goblins travel in groups of a few dozen or less, but right now, there is an entire horde of them out here. No. Perhaps it would be more correct to call them an army. Do you see them? Martha pointed towards the army of goblins. Although I couldn't make them out clearly, I could still see the occasional flicker of moonlight of their spears and shields. I think so. I do see something moving. But wait, I can also see bigger goblins. They're hobgoblins. They're bigger, stronger, and in this case, more heavily armored. What do we do? Are we going to fight them all ourselves? Impossible. They have the advantage in numbers, weapons, armor, and they know the lay of the land, not to mention that goblins have excellent night vision. We'll have to make a run for it. They haven't spotted us yet, so we can still make it out of here without fight. Can you run? Of course. Alright, follow my lead and do as I say. Don't think and don't look back. Just keep on running until your legs give out. If you're surrounded, we're dead. If you fall, you're dead. Our only chance is to keep running until we're in the clear. You understand?
Yes.
Alright then, let's go! Quietly. Marfa and I began to run through the forest. Once after we started to flee, I could hear the goblins talking to one another in their peculiar language. Following mere seconds of chatter, dozens of goblins broke off from their horde and began to pursue us quickly, closing the distance as our inability to see slowed Marfa and I down. Damn, those bastards are faster than they look. Ada, keep running straight ahead. Don't stop, no matter what.
What about you?
I'll be fine, just run. For hesitant to leave Marfa behind, I continued to run without stopping. Behind me, Marfa quickly turned around and took on the first batch of goblins without batting an eye. Bring it on, you ugly sons of bitches! Marfa brandished her sword and cleaved straight through the pack leaders, one after another. She cut down half a dozen goblins with ease, and the moment they stopped to regroup, she began to run once more. Before long, Marfa had caught up back to me, with the goblins slowly catching up.
Marfa, are you right?
I'm fine. Those little punks aren't as tough as I think. The heavily armed ones might be problematic, but they are also much slower. As long as we keep running, I should be able to pick off the front runners.
Alright, I'll leave it to you.
All according to plan. Marfa continued to slaughter the fastest runners the moment they began closing in. By picking a few off here and there, she was able to thin their numbers and, more importantly, kill off the goblins most likely to catch up. Despite the amount of running back and forth, not to mention the act of slaying the goblins, Marfa was able to keep up magnificently. Girl, have you seen those abs? With her blade shining bright in the moonlight, Marfa dyed the trees red with the blood of goblins, tirelessly slaughtering any who dared cross our path. Unfortunately, despite her best efforts, Marfa was horribly outnumbered. For every goblin she slew, two more took its place, full of energy and ready to fight. Shaving down their numbers was not a sustainable plan. In the end, all we could do was run. Did we manage to run away? By the time Marfa and I realized that the goblins were gone, we had already run much farther and longer than planned. We all collapsed, exhausted and sleep-deprived, as we watched the sun begin to rise, finally putting an end to our taxing night. At first we remained vigilant. The goblins could show up at any moment, after all, and we didn't want to let our guard down too soon. But as the sun continued to rise, and the goblins' advantage, their excellent night vision, vanished, we at last allowed ourselves time to relax. I didn't know they had good. But maybe it makes sense, because they usually attack the villages at night, I guess. Phew, much better. Again, good goblin is a dead goblin. Nothing like a bath after working up a sweat.
Yeah, you might be right. I'd rather have a proper night of rest myself.
We can rest when we reach Libertad. As long as we're in this forest, a good night's sleep is a luxury we cannot afford.
Yeah, I suppose so.
I sighed in resignation as I discarded the idea of a proper rest. Having been on the run since the moment I decided to escape my captors, I was more exhausted than I let on. Killing a man, being pursued by slavers, chased by goblins, the night rest. Yesterday was a hard day for me, and a bath wouldn't help me in the slightest. It wouldn't. I would feel some rejuvenation.
Oh, cheer up. What kind of woman doesn't enjoy a nice long bath? Even if it's just a dip in a spring, there are many who are denied even that pleasure. Enjoy yourself, Ada. Understood.
I continued to wash away the filth from my body as Marfa spoke. While Marfa had immersed her body in the water without hesitation, I cleaned myself off carefully, one lip at a time, trying my best to remain dressed. As a result, I took much longer to complete my bath than Marfa, for judging by the look on her face, my time was not wasted.
Whoa, you clean up surprisingly well, Ada. You're actually quite the beauty. You should have no trouble
landing man when we reach Libertad.
No, that is not my intention. Right now, finding a husband is the last thing on my mind.
Oh, you're more ambitious than that, are you? Good for you. While I won't condemn a happily married housewife, I know better than anyone how joyous it is to be free. I shook my head at Marfa's assumption.
That is not it either.
Then what? You're not interested in men? Marfa's words drifted off as she saw the contorted expression on my face. From the way her eyes and mouth opened wide, I knew that she had figured out the in her line of thought. Nonetheless, I felt compelled to share with her the truth.
When I was a free woman, I was just as interested in men as any other woman of age. Furthermore, because of my pleasing appearance, I was fancied by many men. Gifts were a welcome splendor, and even if I didn't return their affection, praise was abundant. But when I was taken captive, my appearance became nothing but a curse.
I held my torso in my arms and shivered as I thought back to my time in captivity.
There is nothing desirable about being an attractive slave. Not a damn thing. And those men, the things they would do to the captive women, especially those they found attractive. I don't think I can ever go back to think positively of them ever again.
Marfa looked at me with an expression of both sorrow and remorse. What started off as a compliment ended with the invoking of memories best forgotten. Even if she didn't know what life as a female slave was like, Marfa felt obvious guilt for her careless words. I mean, I guess you can imagine what was going on there, right? I apologize, Ada. I did not mean to bring up such unpleasant memories.
No, it's fine. I know you meant well.
I forced a smile on my face as I tried to think of another topic. Thankfully, with Marfa now clean and still dripping wet from her bath, my recourse was obvious.
You know, Marfa, you have quite a pleasing face yourself. And also... Fuck, that's not what I meant to do.
Game. Come on, Streamlabs. Got it.
Those...
I want my abdomen to be built like this.
Damn it.
Like, dude, I'm running like crazy. I gave up on fast food like 3 years ago, basically. I eat healthily, basically. Not only running, I also work out inside a little bit. No. It won't build up like that. The hell? Gotta be the genetics. Yes, I will play the genetics card. I mean, I'll still work out and so on.
Pardon? Your face, and your body too, for that matter. You're quite a beautiful woman, Marfa.
Surely you jest. No, she's not jesting.
I understand you desire to return a compliment, but I am under no illusion when it comes to my own appearance. I am a muscular beast of a woman, and I am completely fine with that.
I mean, you are not technically that muscular. You have nicely built abs. You are not like over muscular, basically, what I'm saying. Anyway.
A beast, you say?
I smiled wryly as Marfa's unexpected body issues came to light.
Anyway, enough jabba. We ought to be heading off. Do you feel rested? Are you prepared to leave? Oh, yeah. I'm ready whenever you...
What is it?
It's gone.
What is?
My coin purse. I must have dropped it when we were being chased by ghost goblins.
I cannot say I'm surprised. That chase was indeed intense. Still, a coin purchased a small price to pay for our lives. But I feel like, I know what Ada is thinking. Wait, I'm supposed to pay you for getting me to Libertad. I can't do it now. God Anyway, seemingly unaware of how much money was lost or what my loss meant, Marfa laughed as she puffed out her chest.
Yeah, but Marfa, don't you realize what this means? Those coins were all I had. Without them, I have nothing else with which to pay you. Oh, that's what we're worried about? Forget that pocket change. I'm getting close to Libertad with or without your coin.
I stared at Marfa in amazement as she casually brushed off her lost payment. Contrary to the impression she gave off during our first meeting, Marfa was surprisingly kind, and she seemed to be less interested in material possession than I would have thought. On the other hand, what exactly would adventurers spend their earned coins on? Also, was that really a good life with that, right? If you think about it, even just anime and so on, right? It's not like those adventurers would like live a luxury life or whatever. Anyway, I don't know if I read this line, so I'll read it again if I did. As far as saviors were concerned, I couldn't have been more fortunate.
You know, Marfa, you really are a good person. More compliments. If I have no interest in your coin, what makes you think I desire rewards of praise? Oh, come on. Just accept my thanks already. What is it this time? The coin purse. You don't suppose those goblins stopped chasing us because they found it, do you?
Marfa raised an eyebrow and stared at me in confusion.
That many goblins, after losing so many of their comrades, coming to a halt because of a single coin purse? I think that, stooping for they may be, goblins still value a hot meal of flesh and bone over a shiny piece of metal. Although...
Oh boy, oh fuck. How good is goblins' smell? Sense of smell.
I think we are still in big trouble with goblins here.
If they picked that pouch, it probably has the smell of anta on it. Oh, fuck. I wonder if I'm correct here. As she finished speaking, Marfa began to trail off. She placed her hand below her chin and tilted her head, immersing herself in thought.
Strange. If not for your coin purse, then why did the goblins halt their advance? Maybe they realized that they were no match for you. Or they might have decided to feast on their comrades instead of us. Cannibalistic goblins, you say? I wouldn't be surprised. I certainly kill enough of them for a feast. Well, no matter. We escaped, that's all that.
Did I hear footsteps? Let's rewind and listen. Yeah, definitely a footstep. It's maybe not... Yep. Holy crap.
Marfa?
The hobgoblin? She said. Holy fuck, that's a titan.
Dude, this thing is 2 times her height.
Seeing Marfa's petrified face, I turned to face the ferocious sound originating from behind me.
Sick.
Standing at almost 3 times... Okay, it's even 3, damn. 3 times Marfa's height was an ogre. The disgusting creature was covered in muscle from head to toe, and in one hand it held the mangled corpse of a hobgoblin.
I think we found the answer what happened with goblins.
Its terrifying roar and assertion of its dominion froze Marfa in place as she gazed at its horrible visage. Marfa had not expected to see an ogre here. She was confident that we would encounter only a few goblins, not an army of goblins, and certainly not an ogre.
Ada!
Run away! Marfa finally came to her senses, but by the time she screamed my name, it was too late. Gazing up on the figure which frightened me, even Marfa, I was frozen. My mind slowed to a halt, and I couldn't move a muscle. Every fiber of my being was telling me to run away. The few neurons still firing in my brain all commanded me to escape. But I couldn't do it. My mind had shut down, and my body threatened to collapse. In the face of such a tremendous strength, I could do nothing but give up hope. I had finally met my end.
Damn it, Ada, snap out of it! I told you I'd get you to Libertad, didn't I?
Marta screamed as she ran over to my side. The ogre, which had been sizing me up, moved at the same time, tossing aside its decreased prey and settling on yours truly. They both encroached upon me at the same time, engaging in a race with nothing but my life on the line. And the one to finish first was Marfa.
Damn it, Ada! Live!
A split second before the ogre could take hold of me, Marfa rammed into me with all of her might. The ogre narrowly missed the two of us, and the shock from the sudden impact finally brought me back to reality. I jumped straight to my feet and ran away as quickly as I could, not even taking the time to thank Marfa or scream her name. Dude, but again, how do you run away from such a thing? Even if, I mean, surely the movements of an ogre will be slower, because it's so much taller, so you know, it's usually a thing. But that fucker can make also like 3 times the length of a step, right? That we can do, like, holy crap. Basically, you need to be crazy fast to run away from that thing, I guess.
It's just you and me now, you ugly freak. Let's do this!
Without giving Marfa time to think, the ogre made the first move. What the heck is that thing in its hand? Oh, it's a goblin! I thought it was a weapon. Holy crap. It swung its massive arm from sight, sweeping it at its prey with great strength. Yeah, there's that, but there's no speed to it, right? Marfa raised the shield to defend against a slow but powerful strike. She took the blow head-on, and immediately regretted doing so. Yeah, I mean, jump over the arm, drop underneath it, seems like a better idea. I would say so.
Hey!
Marfa's shield was obliterated in a single strike, and Marfa herself was launched back several meters. Before she landed on her feet, Marfa was afforded no time to collect her thoughts. The ogre came charging, seizing up on its rattled prey. Okay, I guess that thing is fast, actually.
Damn it, how am I supposed to fight something like this? Is escape my only option?
Briefly, the thought of withdrawing flashed through Marfa's mind. This was clearly not an opponent she could take down alone, and even if she did, doing so would accomplish nothing. The monster she thought about doing so, however, a sharp pain flared up in her chest.
No, I can't run away now. If I do, this ogre will continue to kill innocent passerby till the end of its days. I must slay it now. Even if I stand no chance, I will fight to the death, with honor.
The ogre pulled up both of its fists and swung from overhead. Okay, that's easy to, like, avoid. To the left, to the right.
Basically, you know, the ultimate technique, sidestep.
Marfa quickly avoided the sluggish, flashy attack and ran around the ogre, making her way to its rear. Come on, just stab it in the ass, let's face it. That will work. She slashed at the ogre's legs frantically, landing as many hits as she could before the ogre turned around to swat her away. Dude, then how did you hit on those legs? Cut the tendons! Dude, why am I teaching her how to slay an ogre?
Bastard!
The ogre chuckled in response to Marfa's assault. Her sword bounced off its tough armor-like skin every time she attacked. Okay, never mind my teachings then. Maybe that's what she tried to do. Not a single cut remained, no matter how many times she slashed. That's problematic. I guess that means you have to go for the eyes. Or maybe you could have listened to my first, let's say, instruction. Just jab that sword up its bottom. Anyway. This isn't good. My attacks aren't having an effect at all. If I'm going to damage this thing, my only shot is powerful stab piercing one of its weak points. But on a beat like this, where could I even... Yeah, the eyes are way too high. You could try stab it through its mouth, that's also too high. Again, as I said. While nimbly dodging another overhead strike, Marfa realized what she needed to do. She jumped onto one of the ogre's massive arms and began to run up its body. Okay, that's interesting. Once she neared its shoulder, Marfa leaped towards the ogre's head, aiming the tip of the blade for its eyeball. Oh! Hiya! At the last second, the ogre moved its head to the side, causing the blade to narrowly avoid its eye and instead skim across its cheek. The attack managed to draw a few drops of pus-like blood from the ogre's face, where the skin was shallow, but no real harm was done. Well, that will not work again, I guess. In a matter of minutes, its face would heal, and Marfa would be right back where she started. That fucker has a healing ability? Damn, the ogre can move its head around too quickly. I need to hold its movement before I can get a clean shot. Marfa glanced over the ogre once more, looking for another point of weakness. After quickly analyzing the possible areas of attack, Marfa soon settled on a particular limb which the ogre couldn't move quickly without throwing itself off balance. If I can pierce the back of its knee, I should be able to deal some lasting damage and stop it from moving around so much. Oh, why didn't you do that in the very beginning, I guess? As I know I said tendons, but you know, the knee also was in my thought. Yeah, I mean, basically that's where you would cut, right? Like, back of the knee, or somewhere around Achilles, right? Anyway, this won't be easy, but right now it's my only shot. Marfa charged forward in an arc, trying to run around the side of the ogre. Amused, the ogre paid her little concern. It watched her run by turning its head, not even going to the trouble of moving the rest of its body. Marfa thanked her fortune for the ogre's conceit and placed herself in position. She held her blade perpendicular to her body and lunged forward, throwing all of her weight and strength to her thrust. The sword moved swiftly, piercing the air effortlessly as the ogre's fleshy thigh inched closer. Marfa's blade was moving faster than she thought possible, and crouching up to her target with inhuman speed she never thought herself capable of reaching. And by the time she figured out why, it was already far too late. The ogre swung its leg backwards. Oh boy. Swatting away Marfa's sword and sending the swordswoman herself flying. Soon halted, Marfa's body slumped against a giant rock. All of the air in her lungs escaped at once, and her eyes shot wide open. Marfa desperately tried to move, but her body had already suffered enough. She was in shock, and her lips would no longer respond to her command. And of course, the ogre did not fail to take notice of this. Panic set in as the ogre turned around and looked Marfa dead in the eye. Bereft of her sword and shield, unable to dodge, Marfa couldn't afford to take another hit, especially not from an opponent many times her size. But this fact only made the ogre all the more bloodthirsty. The ogre lined up its fist, preparing to finish off Marfa once and for all. So it was impossible for me, after all, huh? I should have known I couldn't do this alone, not after what happened last time. Last time? What do you mean? My friends and I could not prevail when we fought together. What made me think I would even stand a chance all by myself? Holy crap, we get some backstory. Think about it logically, there is no other way this could have ended. Marfa closed her eyes. She accepted her fate and no longer possessed the will to defy it. She would die at the hands of an ogre, just like the companions she left behind. Even with her eyes closed, Marfa flinched and instinctively turned away as the ogre let out an aggravated groan. The time of her death was nigh, and all she could do was brace herself for the imminent impact. Ern? Huh? Marfa slowly opened her eyes as a confused groan leaked out of the ogre's mouth. She followed the ogre's gaze and looked down towards its feet, where she saw a sight that defied all expectations. Marfa!
Ada.
Marfa adopted her eyes as she set her sights on yours truly. I stood. Right. The inner thought is not the thought of a woman, I guess. Or more like, it's not the woman-sounding thought, right? Basically, the thoughts of characters. Yeah, I'm not changing the voice at all. Anywho, I stood at the ogre's feet, wielding the knight's blade which Marfa gave to me.
Get away from Marfa, you disgusting beast!
With great difficulty, I held the blade over my head and swung it down on the ogre's foot. The blade swung with far less might than Marfa's, bounced off the ogre's thick hide without leaving as much as a scratch. Again, I swung my weapon, this time from the side. Unfortunately, the result was no different. The blade was repealed, as for the ogre's skin was made of rubber.
I don't listen to how to deal with that guy.
My strength was not enough to even tickle the beast, let alone slay it. Amused by my pathetic attempt, the ogre turned to face me head-on. I quickly ran away, dragging the knight's blade along the ground beside me for the first few meters before casting it aside. The ogre stopped in its tracks. It seemed perplexed by my decision to cast aside my weapon and momentarily halted its advance. Marfa, on the other hand, understood my intention perfectly.
You floundering idiot.
The ogre raised its arm up high, intent on slamming both of its clenched boulder-like fists into the ground and smashing me into paste. And yet, in the face of this clear danger, I could do nothing but smile.
Hee hee hee. Yeah.
While I distracted the ogre, Marfa picked up the blade and sprinted full speed on the back of the ogre's right knee. She pierced the shallow flesh and cut into the ogre's muscle and bone, slicing apart every vein and ligament she could find. Let's go! The ogre roared in a...
I don't get, why would you not attack from the very beginning there? But okay.
The ogre roared in a pained yet angry manner. It fell onto its hands and knees, at which point it turned its ugly head towards Marfa. Just time to watch her gouge out its eyeball.
Pew! Die! Die, you monster! For every human life you have taken, endure 1,000 years of hellfire!
Before the ogre could lift an arm in self-defense, Marfa repeatedly stabbed the inside of the ogre's empty eye socket. She worked herself into a frenzy as she hacked away at the inside of its skull, carving out chunks of the ogre's brain. The ogre attempted to swat Marfa away, but in doing so it lost balance and fell to the ground, giving Marfa time to cut the beast one last time. Marfa severed one of the tendons in the ogre's neck by cutting downward through the head, and at last she leaped from the mighty creature's corpse.
Take that, you son of a...
Don't tell me someone else appeared. Did she lose consciousness? By the time Marfa awoke, many hours had passed, and those many hours would be happening actually right now, because we will end the episode right here, and we'll continue tomorrow, as I actually need to get up to work. Well, that's life. That's life. That's life of us humans. This is interesting story, not gonna lie. I got into it. Well, I wonder if we can get to Libertad. I sure hope we can, but we'll find it out not today. If you enjoyed the video, consider liking it. You know, that's always nice to see. You can tell me in the comments what do you think of Marfa's apps. Oh yeah, and subscribe if you haven't already. That would be very much appreciated. We are, you know, slowly raising to those 2,000 subs. Very slowly. Very, very, very slowly. Very, 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 very slowly. And if you're into this stuff, there's also Twitch, Twitter, Instagram, to which you can go. On Twitch, we are occasionally guerrilla streaming. And that's it. Hope you enjoyed. Hope you have a wonderful day. And hopefully, that's the third, hopefully, I'll see you in the next video as well. Bye bye.